Recording.
The record.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Want to welcome you to one more Financial Friday as we talk through the issues that we face today, just remembering that everybody's not losing. So as we go through this process, I do want to make sure that those of us live in the Zoom room have some chances for interaction to get to know one another. Those of you watching on live, feel free to chat. I'll get back to you in responses as we go. And just want to focus today on how to get your financial house in order. For those of you that weren't able to join us last week, we'll do a quick recap. But before I jump in, let me introduce you to my co-host for the afternoon, Ms. Monica Wilson. Now, Monica's out of Savannah, Georgia, and she has been studying finance for many years. She's an ongoing, eternal student focused on mastering knowledge, but at the same time, implementing that knowledge to create wealth, fun, and happiness for the people around her. So, ladies and gentlemen, Monica, why don't you tell them about yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for welcoming me to the call, Richard. I am so glad to be a part of this movement. I have actually been very successful with this company. I started in March and my credit score has increased tremendously over the last couple months. And I'm just looking forward to learning more with you all today and just getting this information.
Okay, and as we get started, I know it's one of the things that people will do is be worried and concerned about the environment they're in. They'll say, Richard, that's good in theory, but you're not thinking about the times that we're in. And I actually am. I'm very aware of what's happening in our economy, where they're saying that, unemployment is at an all-time high. People are being placed out of jobs and put into situations where they don't have any certainty about their investment or their income or their opportunities to make more money. But what I do know is most people are waiting to see what's going to happen. They don't know, but they're nervous. And what I found is that what Warren Buffett said is absolutely true. When everybody is fearful, that's the time to be greedy. And when everybody's greedy, that's the time to be fearful. So in the world where people are fearing the pandemic and one another and rioting and fighting, if you can get focused on the only thing you can control, which is you and what you do, you can win. And as I jump in, I'm going to talk finances today. So that I can tailor my conversation to the people listening, just jot in the chat, if there's one area of your life that you could change financially, what would that be? You want to get out of debt. You want to have increased investment income. You want to have increased income. You don't care where it's from. You want to build a business. You want your bills to be lowered. What do we need to work on for you? Let me look at what we got here. Hey, Chris, thanks for joining us. Welcome. So get out of debt, all of the above. Increase cash flow. Okay, so let me jump in. I'm going to share my screen. Monica, will you let me know on your end when my screen is sharing clearly?
Certainly.
And here we are, the Power Builders, empowering you so you can empower everything around you. Just from the headlines, we can blow through these things. We already know what's happening, but let's talk about the way that affects people on a normal basis. If you think about the world that we live in today, we're in one of those positions where the normal challenges that people face when it comes to finance, because I was personally challenged before I found out about income shifting. Is that true for you, Monica?
It is true, yes.
And what I found was that being aware of what was taking my money from me at least helped me have some clarity in what I needed to do. Now, it turns out the average person doesn't get taught financial math. So we'll go through a couple of the challenges that people face on a daily basis, and specifically what makes them relevant right now. So the first one I'll take on, and you'll take the second one, Monica, okay? So when we get to that part. So inflation is a silent income killer. It's actually snuffing out the life of some of our income on a daily basis, because every day prices go up and businesses control when prices go up, but every day our income doesn't go up. We don't normally have control over when we can raise our income to meet the changes in prices. Now, at the same time that our dollar is buying less, and you can see some real examples right now, because of the state of the economy, where things that used to be trivial, you could always go to the store and expect to find some toilet paper. And so when it was gone, it came back and it was 30 cents higher, right? Just significant increase because businesses had the ability, based on demand, to charge a higher price. Now, at the second challenge that everybody faces that takes the next third of most people's income. Talk to us about taxes, Monica.
Taxes. Taxes take 1/3 of your income.
And if you think about that third, we get taxed on the front end and the back end. So if we play the taxes game, I'll name a tax that I pay up front. So up front, I pay income tax before the check even comes in the bank. Then what other taxes do you think of, Monica?
Property tax,
Property
taxes on goods and services.
You get taxed for owning things, get taxed on goods and services. You get taxed every time you buy anything. So most of our income actually, the biggest expense in everyone's home is taxes. But then you take those things together and that creates the third challenge, which is debt. And we call it a curse because they say a sin is something that you do, but a curse is something that gets passed on down to you. And exactly. In the case of debt, for most people, it takes the next third of their income. Because let's play the debt game. Because in America, they have taught us, Monica, to buy things with our time. They've taught us to trade our time, which we'll never get more of, for money that we don't have, right?
Exactly.
So in America, if you want to buy a home, they tell you you should get a
loan.
You should get a mortgage. If you got a car, you should get a
loan.
If you got credit, you should get a
loan, credit cards.
If you got a student, you should get a, everything is, debt is sold so heavily because it's profitable to them. And then with that debt, the reason that everybody goes check to check is that big business has figured out how to extract any remaining money from the bank account so that at whatever level you are. I remember my highest frustration point, Monica, I was making the highest salary of my life before I found out about income shifting.
Wow, okay.
And at the same time, I felt like I did not have any money left. I was angry with my wife, my kids. I figured it was them. But it turns out we were falling victim to the same silent challenges that most people face and needed a way to make a shift. And that's when we found out about income shifting. Now I'll talk about the 3 strategic solutions up front, and we'll focus in on the one that's most urgent to most people today, okay? There's 3 components to the income shifting strategy. You have increasing cash flow, building a business income, and creating an investment income. Now, all 3 of these things work in synergy. They're like those games where you put the pieces together and the overall final product is greater than the individual parts. They call that synergy, synergistic alignment. And increasing your cash flow for most people is the first place they have to start because most people's cash flow is limited. Matter of fact, most people don't even understand what cash flow is or how it's different from income. So let's talk about increasing cash flow. And when I say there's a difference between cash flow and income, Monica, do you know the difference?
In a nutshell, I would say I do, but you go ahead and you tell us.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the reality. Most people don't. Where income is a measure of money, it's an amount. Cash flow is a measure of time. It's how long the money you make will last you. So for example, if you make $1 million, $1 million is a high income, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. But if you got $2 million in bills, your cash flow won't last till the end of your bills. Halfway through, you need more money. Now, at the same time, if you take a teacher and they have an $80,000 income, but their bills are $40,000, their cash flows twice as long as their bills. So that's our first goal for everyone that we know, to relieve some of the anxiety in America. We want to increase cash flow, and we do that by minimizing taxes, minimizing expenses, minimizing debt, and increasing the credit score. So if you think about it, if your taxes go down, then your cash flow goes
Up.
And if your expenses go down, then your cash flow goes
Up.
And if your debt goes down, your cash flow goes.
It should go up. Yes.
It goes up. If we minimize those three things, automatically your cash flow goes up. And at the same time, if we're able to enhance and increase your credit score, that drives cash flow up to the point where we can start doing some different things. Now, in our partnership with Making Wealth Real Financial, Making Wealth Real, to make wealth real, we first got to have a definition of terms. And wealth is also a measure of time. It's the number of days forward. That's what Robert Kiyosaki said. And if we get to the point where the money that you have, your investments, your assets, make enough money for you to sustain your lifestyle indefinitely and never work again, by definition, you're wealthy. So how do we do that? Well, first, understand the cash flow. We went through this last week, so I'll just blow through. It's understanding how money flows through your life. This is the actual cash flow statement. Income comes in, that's money from your job, all those things. Expenses go out, and the two highest expenses in most people's homes, Monica, are right there on the screen. What are those two things?
Taxes and interest.
Taxes and interest are the two highest expenses in everyone's home. And then at the same time, the liabilities, the things that we owe money on, all of our debts are liabilities, and then the assets, the things that bring money in. And in looking at creating wealth, you just got to figure out how to get from where you are to where you want to be. On the left-hand side, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he says this is a poor person's cash flow pattern. The income comes in, it goes right out the door. Middle class, that's why they're in the middle. Income comes in, goes to pay the expenses that come from their liabilities, little left. And then wealthy, they have assets that are responsible for their income and everything else in their lifestyle. They may or may not have a job. Does it make sense? Questions so far? Now, looking at this, let me come out of steering my screen and show y'all something. Looking at this, I got excited, but I got angry at the same time, meaning I became very aware that I needed to invest in assets. But I was also very aware that I had liabilities. I was in debt. And I wasn't sure what to do first, so I tried to do a little bit of everything. How many of you tried to do a little bit of everything? If you tried everything, raise your hand, meaning I was trying to pay $100 extra to everybody I owed a bill to. I was trying to invest a little bit over here. I was trying to get a rental property over there. I had created a situation where I was going 20 different directions, and I just wasn't getting it. Does that make sense?
Wow, yes.
But I learned a process that I want to share with people, and this is where we talk about getting our financial house in order. So once you have a sequence of things, because there is a certain order that it makes sense to go in order to create lasting financial success without the strain. And the first foundation step, we talked about it last week, a foundation. You got to have a mindset, education, a game plan, and what you really need is other people running the same direction as you.
Absolutely.
You need a team. It's hard to get free alone. They say you can run fast by yourself, but you can run far with a team. Mm-hmm. And what we find in mindset, the foundation element that we look for is a mindset of abundance. So if you're ready to build something significant, you do have to build a strong foundation. Invest in your mindset up front and think abundance. Have the attitude of more than enough. As a matter of fact, make sure to type that in, abundance, more than enough, more than enough, more than enough. And then educate yourself on where that exists, because that's the second step. Once you set your mindset on abundance, you need a written budget. A written budget. And I say written so that you know what your reference point is, and written so that you're spending at the most 80% of your income.
Exactly.
And that means that there'll probably be some sacrifice. There'll be some things that you have to do, but at least you'll know. And if you have trouble with building a budget, I have some tools and some experts that can help you through the process the way that they helped me. Because I'm not saying that I was always an expert at this. I knew I was struggling. I knew I needed help. I was introduced to experts. They taught me a system and mindset and gave me expert advice. Next thing you do is build a mini emergency fund as fast as possible. At minimum of $1,000, somewhere between $1,000 and $3,000. You want to have that cash on hand just in case things happen. Because if you get on a financial freedom plan, but an emergency comes up and you don't have $1,000 or $3,000, what happens?
You're in a bind.
Yeah, you're in a bind, and for most people, it goes on a credit card. So if your plan was to get out of debt, well, here you are, first emergency, right back to the place that got you there. So get out of debt quickly. We got a process and a technology to assist with that process. I'll show you what it did in my life and the lives of some people that we know, and then build a true emergency fund, especially in these days and times. And the amount of economic uncertainty in our world, you need to have at least 3 to 6 months of expenses in a cash available asset. And let's say in cash, let's just say it that way, in the bank.
Right.
Then you're in position to invest in the long term. And once you're investing, and when I say invest for the long term, I mean college, I mean retirement, and then I mean beyond retirement, because investing for retirement just means making sure that there's enough income as an outcome for you to live the rest of your life. But we were put here to do more than pay bills and die. We want to build enough wealth to have some to leave a legacy for our children and our children's children, and also to give. So that's how you get your house in order. And the day I want to make, here's what happened last week, Monica. Somebody sent me a message in my inbox right away that said, you know, I want to start investing. What should I do? And I gave them the same advice that my Wealth Max advisor gave me, was making sure that the first thing you do is get out of debt. For most people, if you listen to me now, if you have, let's see, did I spotlight you? Let's see, there we go. If you have any debt with a double-digit interest rate, you're probably the bank is getting a better rate of return than on most things you could invest in.
Absolutely.
And let me show you the example so that we don't end up in this place of eliminating our results as we go through the process, meaning let's put ourselves in a place where the people that are impacted understand how that system works. Making sense?
Okay.
So let's talk about this, because there's a principle. I call this stop the bleeding. And it's just understanding that debt leaks money out of your plans for wealth. And it does help if we understand the process. So a man told me once, he said, the interest is the penalty you pay for the right to own something in advance that you cannot afford.
Wow.
And, you know, I have to admit, even though I did really well in math in school, I think we were purposely not taught the impact of money math. Meaning, let's say we went out and bought something for $5,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the payment is $100 a month, and the interest rate is 21%. Now let's just even make that even simpler. If it was 20% interest, the way that my mind worked is, well, I'm paying $5,000 plus 20% of $5,000, and that's another $100, right? I mean, another $1,000.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's how my mind works. So if I owed $5,000, I was paying $5,000, 120% of that, so $6,000. That's what I thought I was paying. Did anybody else think like me? If the interest rate's 20%, then I'm paying 20% of $5,000? Well, that was just me. Type in the chat. Let me see. Anybody? Yes, yes. No, you already knew. Well, here's the reality. If your interest rate is 21%, then your monthly percentage rate is actually your annual percentage rate. That APR that they put up there, 21% divided by 12. 21% divided by 12 is 1.75%. That is what you pay in interest against the principal every month, because it's compounding interest, but in this case, it's compounding interest against you. So that when you make your payment,
going
The
to
1.75% gets applied to the principal. So you pay 0.175 times 5,000 equals $87.50 a month. So let's make sure we hear that. The $100 that you're paying, $87.50 is going to interest.
Wow.
Only $12.50 is going against the principal. So the reality is that $5,000 divided by $12.50 is 400 months.
And that's why they would encourage you to pay more, right, Richard?
Well, they say pay more, but they don't encourage you to pay more. They make the most money possible if you pay the minimum. So even if you pay more, a little bit more, 25 more, 10 more, your sentence is still long, but here's what it is. 400 months divided by 12 equals 33 years to pay off $5,000.
Wow.
And during that time, the bank earns $87.50 a month for 400 months. It's $35,000. They made $30,000 on $5,000. And the $5,000 they loaned wasn't even theirs. See, if we're going to create wealth, if we're going to make wealth real, the first thing that we got to do is stop the bleeding. It doesn't matter how much money you pour in the top of the bucket. If it's still leaking out the bottom, you still got an empty bucket. Am I making sense? So that's when it started to really make sense in my mind, when the wealth advisor shared with me that any debts that you have that are double digits, they're a better investment than you can find in the market. Pay those off before you start looking for investment vehicles for return. So if anybody's out there needing help getting out of debt, or just would like a plan for how to get out of debt, we can help. And it's not because we made it up. I found someone that helped us, and with a team of financial experts. Write that down, jot that down. Everybody say you need a team.
You need a team.
Everybody needs it. I mean, think about the things that we were taught in school. Like I was taught to be an engineer. I was taught to program computers. I was not taught how to understand or interpret credit, was not taught how to get out of debt, was not taught any of those things. I had to learn by making the mistakes. And I think it was profitable for the institutions to put it that way. But with a team of experts, they'll help us strategically in those areas where we did not have the knowledge or the training. And with MWR Financial, of course, I always make sure to offer the Financial Edge membership to anybody that I know breathing air and making money on earth, because there's something here to help everybody. And, I put up front, it costs money. It's $4 a day, $220 a day, $119 a month to get everything that I have access to, in addition to making some extra money. Serious.
$228 one time. You said $228 a day.
$228 up front, $119 a month, really only $4 a day. Let's make sure that's clear, just so people know. If you're looking for a gotcha, well, the gotcha is you can afford it. The gotcha is it costs less than a cup of Starbucks to get more money than most people make in a month back into their lives as cash flow. And there's a combination of services between Money Max, which helps people with the largest expense that they have, that's their taxes, Credit Max, which helps with increasing the credit score, Debt Max, which I'll focus on my story and my particular situation with debt elimination strategy, and Wealth Max, once you get your house in order, being sound with investments and strategies to plan for all the things that have to happen. Does that make sense? And let's talk about my story. So me in Equity Max. Now, prior to finding out about income shifting and all the things that were in my control that I thought I was out of control of, my reality was that we were about $750,000 in debt. My wife and I, here, I can say it to you face to face. My wife and I had 3 bold, beautiful, expensive children. Those children became students, and those students got loans. So we had a 6-figure total in student loans. We'd invested in 2 rental properties along with the home that we live in. So we had 3 mortgages. We had about $50,000 in credit card debt. And that was when I realized that we needed a shift. Now, the good news is your situation may not be as bad as mine, or it may be worse, but the first thing that you got to do is realize where you are and take action to do something different to get a different result. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So I started first with EquityMax. I went with them and they made a game plan for me. And you can see on the left, they say that if you don't have a plan for your money, somebody does. And their plan is usually to make them more money than you. And in my case, my creditors had a plan for me to be in debt 24 more years until July of 2044. It's 2020, y'all.
Right. Wow.
And I was gonna pay $424,000 in interest. With the new EquityMax plan, all I did was I put in the bills that I paid and the numbers that were on the statement. They looked at my creditors' plans and made a plan to minimize how long I stayed in debt jail, debt prison. Debt is a prison, right? The new free is debt free. So if you're in debt, you're in debt jail, right?
Right.
Save me more than $200,000 in interest and 15 years of my life. You see what I'm saying? So to be debt-free in 2029 and then set in place some financial milestones so that once I'm out of debt in 2029, just applying those same payments in the right kind of investment vehicles, be it $50,000, $100,000, $250,000, $1 million in the bank by 2036.
Amazing.
So I got excited about the plan, but not only did I get excited about the plan, I went to work doing the things they said that I should do. So the first bill it said I should pay off was a loan I probably never should have taken. I had taken a loan from my 401k. So paid it off. Then I paid off the mortgage for one of my rental houses 12 years early. Home equity line of credit. And then I was able to refinance a mortgage on my house once my credit score improved from 5.75 down to 3%. Paid off some more bills. I just get excited now about collecting all these things where I don't know anybody anything. I answer the phone with my own voice like, y'all owe me $1.
That's right.
And it's in that process, at the same time, working with Smart Credit. And again, I wasn't planning to borrow more money, but as my credit score went up, I got to an 810 credit score, meaning I started over here. And just across the 4 months of working with CreditMax, including the month that I refinanced a mortgage, so there's a hard inquiry right there, got to an 800 plus credit score. Now, I'm not saying that that's just me or to brag. There's plenty of folks that have testimonies just like these. You got my good friend Tequila. I met her first at our party this year, but it is ironic just to look at how she's able to save 44%, and there's 20 years, right? Debt-free 2 years from now, and a millionaire 20 years from now with the same money she makes, assuming that she doesn't make any additional money from business. Does that make sense?
Yes.
This young lady just, again, with CreditMax, miracles in the making, started at a 300 credit score, got to a 500 and then a 763 all in a short period of time. It's an amazing story. She's actually one of the first people in her family to buy a car without a cosigner, right? And as a matter of fact, go to this page, the MWR Testimonial fan page, if you want to know more about what the Max programs have done in people's lives, because it does help to have expert assistance in doing the things that we need to do. So with that, Monica, I think we're just about at the end of our time. Let's see where we are. Yep, we just right up against the end. So as I reveal the steps, we'll take them one at a time. So the first step in getting your financial house in order is
that foundation.
Yep, getting your mindset, your education, and your game plan right. Then after that, we have to
budget.
You got to make a budget. Got to make a written budget to spend less than we make, and you got to put it on paper so that you can see it and stick to it.
Third is a
Then,
mini emergency fund of at least $1,000. Get out of debt. Build true emergency fund, 3 to 6 months worth. Invest.
And then invest for long term. And in order of operations, when I say long term, it's things that you know are probably going to happen. So your retirement is the first investment for long term, meaning income is the outcome for you for the rest of your life. You got to have enough invested for the point. It doesn't matter what age it is, but for the point where you decide to stop working, the outcome is you got enough income for the rest of your life without having to go back to work. And then you start saving for children's college funds. And then beyond that, last step,
build wealth and give to others. Yes.
Yep. So again, I want to thank you guys for your time today. Spending money lunch with myself and Monica. There, usually at the end of the conversation, there's 3 categories of people. There's someone that looked at the information and said, you know, I like it. I want to understand how to learn more, where to get more resources, where to get more in-depth coverage of the strategies, because this was just a 30-minute quick lunch conversation. So get back to the person that invited you to say, help me learn. Help me learn. If you want to take advantage of the membership, they can go through a consultation with you, help you understand where it fits in. And especially for those of you that are looking to generate some additional income, that want to supplement what you already have with some serious streams of business income, we have ongoing strategies and webinars so that you can continue the learning process. And as you learn, eventually you can drop the L and earn.
Like
this is Richard Harden, a power builder, empowering you so that you can empower everyone around you. I want to thank you for joining me for Financial Fridays. Get you a plan, get a team, get a mindset, get a game plan, take action. You won't have to ask for a seat at the table. You can build your own table and we can all eat. Monica, thank you again.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody.